Lucy at +1 260 76573 8266 to sponsor a game today. Let's help our children say I can math. Thank you for your support in this amazing initiative. Call Lucy today at +260 76573 8266 and share this advertisement with your business associates, family, and friends. Welcome to Caribbean Connect, broadcasting faith, empowering lives, building the future. Caribbean Connect is more than just a radio network. It's a powerful movement of faith, safety, and empowerment across the Caribbean and beyond. The radio voice of a region with 16 vibrant Christian radio stations under one network, Caribbean Connect reaches hearts and homes across the islands with inspirational music, dynamic teaching, and life-changing conversations, all rooted in Christ. Online churches that connect the world. Join us at Icon Ministries and Caribbean Connect online churches, where the message of hope and salvation knows no boundaries. These digital sanctuaries welcome believers globally with powerful worship, biblical teachings, and an inclusive, faith-filled community. Htbs training in personal safety, empowering individuals and communities with practical safety knowledge rooted in compassion and responsibility. Htbs is our outreach initiative designed to protect, equip, and uplift. Clarence Archibald Network, a unique voice championing spiritual leadership, social justice, and visionary outreach across the Caribbean, Africa, and the diaspora. Impact Africa Technical University. As the education division of our ministry, this institution builds futures through accredited technical and leadership programs with global reach and kingdom values. One united mission. All these dynamic departments operate under the spiritual leadership of Icon Ministries and the legal umbrella of Bijou, a proudly registered business in Trinidad and Tobago for over 44 years. Caribbean Connect is your bridge to faith, purpose, and empowerment. Tune in, log on, connect your life. For partnerships, ministry support, or to join the movement, contact us today. 1-868-397-5961. Something amazing is going to happen to you today. Stay Caribbean connected. Help a child succeed in math. Would you purchase just one Icon math game for $125 TT to donate to a child who is struggling with math? Your small act of kindness could make a big difference in their learning journey. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961 to sponsor a game today. Let's help our children say I can math. Thank you in advance for your support in this amazing initiative. Please share this advertisement with your associates. Make a difference in the life of a child. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961. Help a child succeed in math. Would you purchase just one Icon math game for $25 US to donate to a child who is struggling with math? Your small act of kindness could make a big difference in their learning journey. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961 to sponsor a game today. Or contact Kathy at 1-321-948-2989. Let's help our children say I can math. Thank you in advance for your support in this amazing initiative. Please share this advertisement with your associates. Make a difference in the life of a child. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961. Help a child succeed in math. Would you purchase just one Icon math game for $125 TT to donate to a child who is struggling with math? Your small act of kindness could make a big difference in their learning journey. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961 to sponsor a game today. Or contact Garth at 1-868-493-2710. Let's help our children say I can math.
Are you ready to dive into heart-to-heart conversations that touch your soul? Look no further than Heart Talk between is here for you. Tune in and feel the love radiate through the airwaves. Don't miss out on the magic of sisterly connection. Tune in to Heart Talk Between Sisters, your story segment today. For more information, call 1-868-743-4133. That's 1-868-743-4133. Are you ready to dive into heart-to-heart conversations that touch your soul? Look no further than Heart Talk Between Sisters, your story segment. Join us for a journey of laughter, tears, and unbreakable bonds as we explore the unique connection between sisters. From shared memories to deep reflections, our segment is a safe space to celebrate sisterhood in all its beauty and complexity. Let your heart soar as we discuss love, life, and everything in between, all with the understanding and warmth only sisters can provide. Whether you're reminiscing about childhood adventures or seeking advice on navigating life's twists and turns, Heart Talk Between Sisters is here for you. Tune in and feel the love radiate through the airwaves. Don't miss out on the magic of sisterly connection. Tune in to Heart Talk Between Sisters, your story segment today. For more information, call 1-868-743-4133. That's 1-868-743-4133. Audio Jungle.
Hey sis, welcome back to the Estrogen Dialogues with Dr. Linda. I am your host, Dr. Linda Bing, and today we're going to have some real heart talk between sisters. We're going to talk about self-awareness. In fact, today's episode is being called Mirror, Mirror, What Self-Awareness Looks Like After 40. We're going to have some real, raw, and rooted conversation about how we see ourselves. In fact, let me start with this question. What do you see when you look into the mirror? Now, I'm not talking about the superficial stuff. I don't mean the hair, the makeup, the outfit, the cute smile. I'm not talking about those kinds of things. I'm not even talking about the roles that you play, like mom, teacher, wife, airline pilot, whatever the case might be. I'm not talking about the roles. I'm talking about the woman that is beneath all of that. When is the last time you looked in the mirror and you saw her? That's the question that we're going to address today, because for so many of us, we think we're self-aware and we're not. For so many of us, we think we're doing self-care, but you can't care for a self that you do not know. So we're going to take the gloves off and we're going to take a look at who we really are underneath. Now, self-awareness is a journey. It's not something that's a one and done. It's something that you have to work on over and over and over again. And many of us didn't know that we signed up for that. But because we wear so many hats, it's easy to get confused as to who am I supposed to be now? It's easy to play a role instead of letting your true, authentic self come out. You know how when you're on the job and you have to play a certain role if you're heading the meeting or if you're the leader of the team, and then that role needs to shift on the way home so that you play a different role when it's time for the husband and the kids or the significant other or the girlfriends you're connecting with, whatever the case might be. We wear different roles and we get lost in who we really are underneath all of that. So I want us to be able to look at who are we when we're in autopilot and who do we really need to be? Because sometimes we're avoiding ourselves. The truth of the matter is sometimes we don't like what's there. We might feel like that woman is not enough. That woman is missing something. Yes, she's successful. Yes, she has a good job, good education, all of those things, but something is missing. Sometimes we're afraid to fail. Fear of failure is a real thing. Sometimes we are afraid to succeed. We're afraid that if I get put on that pedestal, are other people going to come out and knock me off? It's sort of like the emperor's new clothes, where everybody was looking at the emperor in that childhood story and they all saw that he was completely naked, but nobody would tell him. And when the little boy who had the courage actually came out and said it, now the emperor was covered in shame. Many of us don't want to be shamed. We don't think we're good enough. People talk about the imposter syndrome and us being afraid that someone will come out and identify that we are not as good or as smart or as pretty or as successful as we think we are. So to avoid that, we don't let our real selves come out. Because if I don't show you who I am, then you can't attack who I am. You attack that role. You attack that persona. So how many of you have ever feel like that? I mean, think about it. Honestly, have you ever felt like maybe you're not enough? Have you ever felt like I'm an imposter? And a lot of times these thoughts aren't things that are on the top of our minds. They're things that are buried deep down inside. And it takes some real introspection to get to the root of those things, to find out that we really are fearing failure or fearing success or fearing being rejected or fearing being abandoned. The list of fears can go on and on and on. And we are so scared of the grief that might come up when we realize how much we have sacrificed, how much we have put forth to get the education, to get the job, to get the promotion, to buy the house, all of those things. And were they all for nothing? Can somebody come and take all of that away from me? So if we build these walls, then we think that we're protecting ourselves. But walls serve more than one purpose. They don't only protect you and keep you in, they also keep people out. So self-awareness is not self-criticism. That's not what we're talking about today. It is self-clarity. It is understanding when I look in the mirror, I'm not seeing a fine little African-American woman who's of a certain age. I'm seeing someone who has certain likes and dislikes. I'm seeing a woman who feels like maybe she's not enough. I'm seeing a woman who maybe feels like my emotional needs haven't been met today. I'm seeing a woman who maybe feels like, when is the last time I had fun? What are my hobbies? All of those are the things I'm talking about that we need to see in that mirror. So just stop and reflect on that for a minute. What are you looking at and what do you actually see? It's interesting. When other people look at you, what do they see? Now, that's a different level of awareness, but we need to know, what do other people see? Is my reflection that I'm seeing the same as what other people see when they look at me? Because that's part of being self-aware as well. We may think that we come across as someone who's patient or kind or humble, and other people may have a totally different perspective of who we actually are. So what are some wake-up practices? Okay, when you look in that mirror, and you decide, these are the things that I see, it would be good to write those things down. Write down who you are. What are your likes and dislikes? What are the things that get you excited? What are things that you feel you have an abundance of? I'm talking about personal attributes, not material things. What are some things that you're lacking in terms of personal attributes? What are your strengths? What are your challenges? Those are all the things that make you self-aware. Write those things down and decide which ones you want to work on. And then I'm going to share with you some wake-up practices. So here are 4 wake-up practices that we can actually talk about. One is to see stillness as strength. Create a sacred moment of quiet every day. No phone, no podcast, just silence. That's where your soul starts speaking to you. Now, you might create that at the start of the day. You might take a break somewhere during the day. It might be the last thing you do before you go to bed at night. But at some point every day, you want to get still. Also, in that stillness, you need to become appreciative, thankful, express some gratitude, because oftentimes we look at what we don't have and we totally overlook all of the things that we do have. I'm going to tell you, I have fallen trapped to that myself. I've gotten to the point of, I don't have enough. You get on the grind. I have to do more. I have to be more. And I need to just stop and reflect. So every morning I try without fail to go into my prayer room. And in my prayer room, I spend some time with God and I share with him what I am thankful for from the day before, because I want to start out remembering what he did for me yesterday, because then I know what's possible for today. If he did it yesterday, he can do it again today. And that's sort of the way I get myself grounded. I want to be appreciative. I want to hear from him. I want to be still. And unless we are silent, many times that doesn't happen. So silence is not something to be avoided. Silence is something that we need to look for and cherish. I know for all you moms who have little kids at home, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Can I just get 5 minutes? Can I go to the bathroom without you? Those kinds of things start popping up. So one wake up practice is that stillness is strength, and we need to create that moment every day. Another one is the check-in. Ask yourself, what am I feeling today? You know, we have a plethora of emotions. What am I feeling? I think we spend so much time either in the past or the future that we don't concentrate and spend enough time in the present. And that's why you hear about all these mindfulness practices that are going on now, because people know the value of not only being still, but being in the present. Not getting ahead of yourself, not ruminating over the things that you could have done better yesterday, but just be present. And so what do I need is another question to ask yourself. What am I feeling? What do I need? No judgment, just curiosity. Don't beat yourself up for what you don't have. Just figure it out so that you'll know what you're feeling and perhaps have a path of how you can get to those things that you actually need. And if you find that what you're feeling isn't the way you want to feel, believe it or not, you have the power within you to shift your energy. You have the power to make yourself think differently and feel differently. Many of our feelings are choices. It's how we choose to respond to the circumstances around us. So get out of whatever you're feeling that's negative and get into something positive. Now, a couple of the ways that I do that, because I am in that age where I am experiencing, I call it all menopause, but whether it's perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause, when you are a woman over the age of 40, at some point in time, you get caught in that cycle. It's a natural part of life. One of the symptoms that's very rarely talked about is depression. You know, we talk about hot flashes and night sweats and mood swings. Part of the mood swing is sometimes you feel anxious, things that you've always done, things that you're good at. Now, all of a sudden, you get kind of nervous about doing it and you question whether or not you still have the skill and the ability to do what you used to do. But another feeling that we sometimes get, which is a symptom of menopause, is depression. Sometimes you're sad for no reason at all. Life is good. It's flowing. It's popping. Everything is going the way you need it to go. But you just feel like something is missing. That's a form of depression. It comes along with menopause. And so many times we need to get out of that feeling. And so some ways to get out of feeling that way, one is to just shift your focus. Stop what you're doing, get up, go to another part of the house or the office and do something different, because just shifting your environment and shifting your energy can often shift your feelings. If possible, go outside. The power of vitamin D is strong. You know, when the sun is shining, even if it's not, go outside, breathe the air, look at nature, get a little sunshine. And if you want to go the extra mile, go for a walk, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes. But that movement, you know, getting your body moving does things. And if it's raining and you choose not to go for a walk, do a little something in the space where you are. Walk around, go up and down some stairs, do some jumping jacks behind closed doors, whatever it is. But shift the energy. The physical energy has an impact on our emotional energy. And don't judge yourself. Third one is to do some mirror work. Look at yourself in the mirror and speak life. Those of you who know me know that I am a Christian woman and I bring my whole self to everything that I do. So I will speak God in the Bible. I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm just letting you know who I am and what I believe. And Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21 says, the power of life and death lies within the tongue. In other words, we have the power of speaking life or energy into things. We also have the power of killing energy and life that's in those things just by the words that we say. So when you check in to find out how you're feeling, you also want to speak life. You want to have some positive affirmations. I've got affirmation cards. Maybe on another show, I'll share some of them with you so that you can see. Just looking at an affirmation card, that for me, they are a deck of cards. They're about the size of, for people who play cards with games and so forth, they're about the size of those cards. And I believe they're 52 or maybe 50 in the pack. You can order them on my website, which is thedrlinda.com. That's THEDRLINDA.com. And those affirmation cards just give you something positive to infuse into your spirit. So you can say things like, I see you, I honor you, I will not abandon you. Whatever you're feeling, if you're not feeling like you're enough, then you can talk those kinds of things into your spirit. You can practice saying things, whether it's from a favorite book of yours, a good movie, the Bible, whatever it happens to be, an author whose quotes you like. But think about what gets you going and make sure that you're saying those things to yourself. If you get up tired and you just don't feel like dealing with the day, you can get up and say, you are strong, you are powerful, you have the energy to accomplish anything that you set your mind to, and you talk yourself into it. Athletes do it. Boxers do it. Basketball players, before they get out on the court, they all have their own little pep talk that they put themselves through to make sure that they are operating full out when they get on the field or the court or whatever it happens to be. So we have stillness as strength. Create a sacred moment of quiet every day. Number 2 is the check-in, asking yourself what you're feeling and what you need. Number 3 is the mirror work. Speaking life into yourself, into the mirror. And number 4 is sacred journaling. I'm not one who journals every day. I know the power of journaling, but I am more of a talker than a writer. I don't always journal, but I do make sure that when there's something I want to remember, or if there's something really powerful that happened that I want to go back and reflect on, or maybe something negative that I put myself through and I want to understand the process so that I don't get into that space again, I will journal. So sacred journaling, write freely, don't edit, don't filter, let it all pour out. And you'd be surprised what your pen knows that your mouth won't say. Let me say that one again. You'd be surprised what your pen knows that your mouth won't say. Just start writing. It taps into a whole different area of the brain, and it allows you to put all of these things out and on paper. I'll tell you about another wake-up practice. I'm going to show you one of the t-shirts that we have for sale on the website as well. So some of them have just like nice sayings. One of my favorites is this one. Too glam to give a damn. Kind of hard to be sad when you're wearing something like that. We have one, I think, that's called Unapologetically Me, and another one that says confidence looks good on me. And so you'd be surprised. Not only does it help you, but as you're out and about, people see it, they read the shirt, they smile, they comment, you get that little conversation going. It's a little boost of energy. So again, you can find them on thedrlinda.com. And speaking of products, HTBS has products as well. If you go to the HTBS website and look in the shop area, you can find all kinds of things that you could use for yourself, use as gifts. Sometimes some of them are educational for kids. So I encourage you to go look at some of the products on HTBS as well. And before I go on into talking about why it matters that we become more self-aware, I want to remind you that if you want to contact me, maybe you have a question or a comment, an idea for a show. Maybe you want to give me some feedback. Send an email to theestrogendialogues.htbs for Heart Talk Between Sisters @gmail.com. So you're going to the Estrogen Dialogues, and dialogues is spelled, because there's more than one way, it's spelled DIALOGUES. The estrogendialogues.htbs@gmail.com. Just let me know how you're doing. You might want to ask how I'm doing. I love that. Like I said, give me ideas. What do you want to hear about? What do you want to discuss? Is there a guest? Now, you can't give me somebody that's super famous. They're not coming on the podcast. But, maybe you want to hear from somebody in a certain field or industry or walk of life. And we can do our best to try to get someone like that on. So those are just some of the things that we've got coming down the road for you. All right, so let's move on to talk about why does all of this matter? Because it does go beyond just how you feel on a given day. It goes into how you mother, how you do your work, how you show up for a spouse. It goes beyond just how you show up for yourself. How are you presenting yourself to the world? And as much as we don't want to think about it, people are watching you all of the time. So what messages are you sending out about you as an individual, or you as a member of that family, you as a person of color, you as a woman, you as someone who's white? I mean, what are people picking up from the energy that you're putting out? I think this is really important during midlife. Midlife is not a crisis. It's a crossroads. It's a comeback. It is not something to fear, but it is something to understand and embrace. I do some training in that area. I do things called the midlife remix, where we are rewriting the narrative on what it means to be a woman. In fact, I did an episode on that. So you can look for that episode. What does it mean to be a woman in today's world? Because there's so many things that are coming at us. And one of the things that I will be speaking on a lot is the whole thing of menopause, because we have been done wrong in that area for so many years. Women were not included in some of the critical medical trials that were done. So medical research was largely done on men, or maybe a few women here and there. In fact, it wasn't until 1993 that it became mandatory for the National Institutes of Health to actually include women in all of their clinical trials. Imagine that. That's in our lifetime. So when you think about, well, why didn't my mother tell me about menopause? Because she didn't know. And her doctor didn't know, because the research didn't include women. So it was just unknown. There are so many symptoms of menopause, things like gut health. You're seeing lots of commercials about prebiotics and probiotics, but they don't tell you that it's connected to the estrogen levels in your body. And when you go into perimenopause, your estrogen levels start to decrease. Your body is not producing as much estrogen as it used to. It leads to all kinds of things like muscle aches, headaches, gut problems, fatigue, weight gain. Don't get me started on weight gain. That's one of my personal pet peeves, and I'm still trying to get that under control. But all of these things come into play. So being self-aware means identifying how you're feeling, not just emotionally, but physically. And when you're doing that look in the mirror and you are looking at the superficial things, what do you see? Do you still find yourself attractive? Do you see someone who maybe needs to lose 10 or 20 pounds? Your hormones are shifting in midlife, sis. There's a war going on inside your body. And it's not just physical, it's emotional, physiological, psychological, all of those things combined. So now your priorities need to be realigned. What are the things that are important? What are the things you need to work on? Listen to some of the other podcasts. Many are being added to the Htbs platform. Listen to them. Htbs is a platform for women, by women, all about women. Listen to some of the things that people are talking about. Some relationships are impacted. I read something that said 7 out of 10 marriages are end, or I should say this way, of the marriages that end, 7 out of 10 of them, women who were postmenopausal said that menopause had something to do with the demise of their marriage. That's powerful. That is powerful, because you don't understand your body and what's going on. So there's no way he can understand your body and what's going on. And you can't communicate around something that you don't understand. One of the things that many women know is when you get into that menopause cycle, and like I said, I refer to all 3 of the phases as menopause. It's just easier to call it menopause than to talk about peri and post and all their brothers and sisters. So when we're talking about menopause, that phase of your life, your libido or your sex drive decreases. That can be a problem in a marriage, especially when people don't know it and have an understanding about it. Sex can become painful because when your levels of estrogen decrease, you get vaginal dryness. It makes it more difficult and uncomfortable to engage in intercourse. So there are other things that are impacted, and this is why it matters. You have to be self-aware. What is going on in my body and in my mind? Now, this is time to find yourself again. The chapter depends on you and how well you know you. And that's why I say midlife is not a crisis, but it is a crossroads. It's a wake-up call. It's a time to recognize who we are and to rewrite the narrative. It doesn't have to be something negative or something that you dread. You just have to get ahead of it. And education helps with that. When you know what you're facing, you can be prepared for it. You can be forewarned. They say being forewarned is being forearmed. Absolutely. Know what you need to do. So one of the things that I want you to do is when this podcast ends, as it will in just a few moments, I want you to write down one mask that you're wearing that you're willing to remove. So are you masking feeling okay when you're not? Are you masking feeling happy when you're sad? Are you masking being okay with those extra pounds around your midsection because you just don't feel like doing the exercise or the diet to get rid of them, but you're really not real pleased? Are you masking enjoying your relationship when because of what you're going through, you're really not? Just think about what is one mask that I'm wearing that I'm ready to remove. Write that down, just one. And I want you to bless the version of yourself that wore it. She did the best she could with what she had available to her. We're not going to give her a hard time. We're not going to judge or criticize her. But what we are going to do is think about ways that I can remove that mask. When I take it off, what am I going to see or find underneath? And how do I cope with what I find underneath? That is really important. So create a space where you can be yourself. And in fact, I'm creating that space for you. I've got lots of programs out there, but I want you to follow me on social media. Look for the Midlife Remix. I'm starting a community where it's a space for women who are ready to live louder, love deeper, and lead wiser to come together. It's a space where we can talk about some of the challenges we're facing and how we feel about those challenges, how they're impacting our lives. What are some hacks, life hacks that we found to get around hot flashes and night sweats? What are some hacks that we found that help put the moisture back where it needs to be? We need to talk about these things and we need to encourage one another. When you get beyond some of those symptoms, let a sister know that she can make it through. It's going to be okay. So I'm forming this community, the Midlife Remix, because those are things we need to talk about. And in the community, we'll have some conversations around relationships, because relationships change. And if you are single and 40 or older, the whole dating world has changed. You need a dating detox before you get back out there again. I got that for you as well. So we'll be talking about dating, relationships, menopause, but most importantly, we'll be educating and supporting one another. So I hope that something that was said today was helpful for you. Remember, we're talking about looking in the mirror, being truthful about what you see. Who is the woman behind the mask, behind the superficial things? If you need to wake up, here are some wake up practices. I shared 4 of them with you. There are many more, and you understand why it matters. As always, I'm ending the show, but not ending my connection with you. Reach out to me. theestrogendialogues.htbs@gmail.com. I love engaging and talking about these things. And I look forward to the day when I will be able to take some of your calls live. That day is coming. But right now, listen, send your emails, and we'll just keep it going. So I'm here for you as long as you join me on the ride. I appreciate it. So with love, until next time, I'm Dr. Linda. Take care, y'all.
Heart Talk Between Sisters radio broadcast. Tune in to a heartwarming and enlightening radio experience like no other. Join us on a journey of love, laughter, and lifelong connections as we explore the unique bond between sisters. Our broadcast is a celebration of sisterhood, offering a safe space for candid conversations, shared memories, and inspiring stories that touch the soul. Whether you're a sister yourself or simply appreciate the beauty of this extraordinary relationship, this broadcast is for you. Discover the secrets of sisterly love, support, and understanding as we delve into personal experiences and heart-to-heart conversations that will make you smile, cry, and reflect. So, grab your favorite cup of tea, get cozy, and let our Heart Talk Between Sisters broadcast warm your heart and lift your spirits. Join us every week for an emotional journey filled with wisdom, connection, and the enduring power of sisterly bonds.
Help a child succeed in math? Would you purchase just one Icon math game for $25 US to donate to a child who is struggling with math? Your small act of kindness could make a big difference in their learning journey. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961 to sponsor a game today. Or contact Kathy at 1-321-948-2989. Let's help our children say Icon math. Thank you in advance for your support in this amazing initiative. Please share this advertisement with your associates. Make a difference in the life of a child. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961. Help a child succeed in math? Would you purchase just one Icon math game for $125 TT to donate to a child who is struggling with math? Your small act of kindness could make a big difference in their learning journey. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961 to sponsor a game today. Let's help our children say Icon math. Thank you in advance for your support in this amazing initiative. Please share this advertisement with your associates. Make a difference in the life of a child. Contact Bijou at 1-868-397-5961.